Brothers and sisters, generals, my general brothers, and my general sisters, we are no longer soldiers and soldierettes. Remember, I said we elevated to generals, and I honor thy ancestors, the righteous ancestors who were generals, brother or sister, that got us, those that are divine and connected, and got us to the place and the state that we are in. Always got to be appreciative of that, because the body lays to rest, but the spirit still alive, And it's wonderful when we get to this state, which is not easy. You had to go through the levels. And I thank those that have been riding along with the brother. Because remember, you a leader and a teacher. You're not a follower. None of us are. We're gonna change that. That's a narrative. That's not it's nothing but leaders and teachers out here with a student spirit. Because when we got a student spirit, we learn. And I made this podcast yesterday, and so I thought I'd do it again, because apparently I had some kind of copyright thing. So I thought I'd redo it. And like I said, I thank those that have been with the brother, current subscriber, new subscriber. And it's just wonderful when we get to a good state in our mind, and we focus on the righteous things of life. And why do we stick to the righteous things of life and connect to that great divine, that higher, greater supreme being, that real God? Because so we can have a great future. Remember, it's not all about being this perfect person, brother or sister. It's because of what will come in the future. So that's why we do righteous in the present, And like I say, if you're healthy, mind, body, and soul, you know what you can see, hear, and feel. And you are watching what you channel into your psyche or our psyche. You can be a superhero. If you're healthy, you have to take accountability if you're healthy and nothing's wrong with you. Accountability can be a beautiful thing. It's not always easy, but you come out unscathed when you take accountability and you just be true. Truth isn't always easy, but it's always best. And you feel better in the end. And as I said, and we're going to talk about impulses. And impulses also connects to when God says, stay put. And we've all had those moments when God told us to stay put. And when I say when God says stay put, I'm talking about those impulses, wrong impulses that get one in trouble. And if you say to yourself, how do we know our impulses will get us in trouble? Well, for one, think of the things that we have done when we jumped off our impulses, made split decisions. Or it don't always have to be a split decision. It's just an urge to do something, and sometimes we think we want something, and then we get it and we find out it's not what we wanted, because that great divine gives us what we need, not what we want. The wants will come. I say that all the time. So that's the things we study in this life. Our psyche, mind, body, and soul, what we see, hear, and feel. And when we do this on the daily, we'll make right impulses, because there's not just bad impulses. And I've said this before, but I couldn't do the podcast, but I said this on the other one I made like this. It was the same title, about impulses and when God says stay put. And I heard this from a comedian, Jim Carrey, and he said every day of our lives we are seconds away from an impulse. And what I was going to say a few minutes ago, why it's so important to study our impulses. Just look out just look out into the world. Look at social media. Look at the things that we are seeing. Those that are not thinking and got these gadgets and technology and AI, they think it's the end all be all. No, natural self is where it's all at. That's where you find true life with your natural self, not this artificial shit out here. We need things that can fulfill us for life, not things that pleasure us for the moment. We have to have real things, especially if we're connected to what? Children, family, significant other. I'll say that a lot. And those in our circle, far and near. And I'll say one more time, melanated brothers and sisters, we have divine abilities. Some know it but use it for evil. And then you got some know it and use it for the right things. And some that may be unaware. Well, study it if you have had those divine signs come to you, because we all get it. We're in a new phase of these, of spiritual awakening, righteous spiritual awakening. We're in a new wave. So there's no more weird, It might seem kind of weird when we're in baby stepping of awareness and knowing oneself and taking ourselves, out of our old habits and way of thinking and stepping into that cosmic way of thinking, because we are as powerful as we think we are, not in a bragging way or conceited or nothing like that. If we see, hear, and feel powerful, we will be powerful in our mind, body, and soul also. And we will strengthen our what? Psyche. That's the 7 symptoms. You hear me talk about a lot, because those are important, and got to watch out for these parasites. I talked about this on a short clip I did called Stop and Smell the Roses. I like doing those. Just did that. I just uploaded that today, actually. And I normally only do podcasts in the morning, but I was feeling it. Great Divine was in my spirit to speak. Wanted to speak on it. And I did this, when God says stay put. And, I did this on another podcast, but I had to take it down because it apparently had a copyright or something. I don't know. But I felt this should be heard. And I'm telling you, dark things, evil things, porn, lusting, those are all parasitic things. They are parasites. Anything that's devilish of this world, anything negative is attached, it's a parasite. And I'm telling you, if everybody pulled back from dark forces, I mean everybody, the parasite would die, because a parasite can't live without a host, So, and it's funny how you see individuals be talking about different individuals that they might think is a low status or whatever. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be a host and you don't even know, especially if you're looking at porn and you in dark shit and doing evil shit, hiding in the dark, and then but you're putting up a front in front of everybody, as we always talk about. That's the worst kind of individual to be around, I'm telling you. And unfortunately, the weakest that be, because I don't call them the powers that be, the weakest that be, they're the biggest parasite of them all. And it's trying to make all of us be the host. But those days are numbered. Like I talked about on my short clip, Stop and Smell the Roses, about that movie Venom. How when you are engaging and indulging in toxic, evil, wrong, dark things that is bad for your body, and you keep doing it over time, then when you do finally try to stop, it'd be hard to come out of it. So don't even start it, because once that parasite starts, it's not going to want to stop, and it's going to stick to you, and it's going to be hard as hell to pry off. So stay away from the toxic, dark, evil shit. So I'm going to break down parasite. I just wanted to read a little summary. We all know what a parasite is, but sometimes it's good to go in deep on things as a brother, sister, young or old, or in our families. We got to break stuff down so we can pinpoint things that's within our soul. Okay, parasite. And I'm going to do impulse too. I've talked about impulse a lot. Actually, on this channel, I have a podcast called We Need Classes on Impulses, because that's the biggest, I would say the biggest issue. It's not even a challenge. It's the biggest problem, especially in social media, but in this world, period. Impulses, wrong impulses, is the most major issue in this time. Real talk. Like I said, like Jim Carrey said, it is an old stand-up he did before he became famous, back when he used to stand-up, and he said, and it's true, and he said every day we are seconds away from a wrong impulse. It's just that a lot of us that have become wise and powerful, we know how to control them. We pay attention to our intuitions, because again, melanated brother and sister, we all have divine abilities. It just always depends on what that individual. So I'm gonna read this little summary about parasite, because I want to be aware of this for myself. Like I said, doing things like this, discussing things with oneself, even if you ain't speaking or talking to nobody. Reason and work things out within oneself, especially if you're attached to what? Family, your circle, children. You already know what I'm going to say. Okay, let's go. A parasite is an organism that lives on or in a host organism and gets its food from or at the expense of its host. Now think about that. At the expense of its host. It don't give a damn about what it's attached to. It just wants pleasure from it. And that's what a lot of people who own porn sites and sex chat rooms, they lost in that shit. They don't even realize it and will justify it and think it's okay and all that bullshit and be wondering why their life all fucked up and why they're giving off certain energy. Energy is no joke. That's why we don't fuck with dark shit. Real talk. And I'm going to read the rest of the summary. There are 3 main classes of parasites that can cause disease in humans. Let me see. Yeah, disease in humans. I'll stop right there because there's other things that it can cause. But we're talking symbolically, things that are not good for us that we are attached to. And impulses can lead to this kind of stuff. And it's just not porn. It's anything of that nature. Like I said, Great Divine gives us divine melanated brothers and sisters, young or old, gives us divine abilities for a reason. We go through the adolescent stages, we go through the maturing stages, the levels, we go through all that for a reason. The Great Divine does nothing coincidentally. Everything is in order. And as I said, we are connected to nature, whether we know it or not, because when the sun goes to sleep, we go to sleep. When the sun wakes up, we wake up. Even if we do try to stay up late or whatever, our body will get tired because, as I heard a great brother say, and I've heard many sisters say, that is the order of the Great Divine, Mother Nature, universe, Father Time. Appreciate Father Time. If you don't give a damn about Father Time won't give a damn about you. You turn your back on that divine, Great Divine's gonna turn that back on you and allow things to happen to you. And once that Great Divine turns its back on you, the devil gonna have a ball with you, because a wandering mind, a non-focused, unproductive mind is the devil's playground. So I want to read another summary about impulses. Study, if you want to, conquer ground in this life and be your own superhero, study your impulses. I'm telling you, you'll dodge a lot of drama, a lot of bull, and you'll come through small victories, big victories. It'll become easy when you start to study things in thyself. Real talk. So we're going to read this summary of impulses. A sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act. And you got a lot of people in jail because of that phrase, that little summary right there. I'm going to read it again. A sudden, strong, and unreflective urge or desire to act. And if you're righteous and you have studied, human nature, not just for others, also for oneself, you won't have a lot of wrong impulses. When you understand our brothers and sisters that, maybe in our families or out here speaking or in the world, just any brother and sister in general, and whether they're toxic, negative, or positive, you will understand. Those that are toxic, of course, we can't stay with them. We got to disconnect from them, but we will understand. That's the thing. We will understand. But, it always comes back to, can't help those that don't want to help themselves. If they're healthy and nothing wrong with them and they're able to, because we got a lot of able bodies out here that know what the fuck they doing, and think they can override that higher supreme being. You're a fool. You think you can override God, that real God. Because when God says stay put, you better listen. Because, again, all you got to do is do a little bit of reflection and think of those times that higher force has brought us through. All of us, especially melanated brothers and sisters, we have all had those wild moments that we couldn't explain, that propelled us or changed the way we think or how we live or guided our way in life. Because I'm telling you, all of us have had those miraculous moments, and some of us paid attention to it and started doing better because of it, and started studying it and went in deeper. And that's why we got a lot of these reachers and teachers out here. Salute these generals, that went through the levels, that understood those wild moments and came into their power, or we came into our power and understand. And now we understand it and don't take it for granted, because you got a lot of those out there that do know the great gifts they have, the influence they have, and using it for manipulation. And something I heard, we hear elders say, and I heard a brother that I listened to say this probably a couple weeks ago. Forgive me if I don't say it right, but the chickens have come home to roost, if I said that right. So I have to say this. This is really not a good time. I don't really watch. I have my certain celebrities I watch and stuff, and movies I like, but I gotta tell you, for some celebs, this is not a good time for them. If you've been doing any dark shit, anybody in general, but especially celebrities. But if you're doing dark shit and you on social media all the time and you don't mean well, especially if you're doing something like, I'm talking about demonic, dark, something evil, something ain't bad. No ain't right. I'm telling you, you get caught in this social media, blab the hell out your ass. So I'm telling you, I do truly believe that one knows this is our test. We are in the testing time, and nothing can be hidden. Everything can be exposed. So I'm telling you, I don't care who we are, how we are, how you just be true to oneself. That's it. It doesn't always have to be this deep spiritual thing, but we can get to that. Just be as right as we possibly can, because, man, your future is going to come. I say that. And we're all going to transition one day. We're going to be old one day. So you can say you can do what you want to do, and you can live how you want to live, and you can alter your body, and you can do what I want to do, and think you can go against that divine order. Okay, then you have to accept the consequences that will come, because they will come. Nobody's above that higher supreme being, that real God, not this false shit. Nobody's above that. So if you're healthy, mind, body, and soul, you're able. People altering their bodies and changing their sexes and all that stuff. Okay, you can do what you want, yeah, but you have to take everything that comes with it. That's the thing. You can do what you want, but if it's outside of that divine order, you got to take everything that comes back with it, because God is not about confusion. The real God is about order and principles, and righteous energy, and flowers blooming, springtime beauty, that kind of stuff. Natural order, not artificial AI made up, and like taking clay and molding it the way you wanted to mold. It just ain't gonna happen. You can't force nature. You can't make nature be what you want it to be. Nature is what it is. Nature, the universe, nature, this world will be here when we're long gone. It can wipe us all off this planet if it really wanted to, and start all over. So that's why we have to appreciate that higher force, because it's more than just a God. God resides in our soul. The real God, divine, resides in our soul, but it's much bigger than that. It's way bigger than us, than we could ever know. A lot of us are almost there though, but we'll never know that true power. So those that keep testing God, keep testing it, real God now, not this false shit. I always got to say that, and because we have some now. I have nothing against. I used to be in Christianity and all that. I'm not in it no more. I'm not against it, because I know what it is. I've been there. A lot of us have. A lot of us reaching and teaching out there. We all kind of came through the church, but we came into our own. And because we're looking for God, we going straight to the source. Cut out the middleman. That's what it's about. So that's kind of what church is, the middleman. Kind of gets in the way of God, because you have different energies in that church. So that's why I say go straight to the source, that God self that's deep within. But it's bigger than us. This God force is way bigger than us, bigger than this earth, bigger than this world. So that's how I look at it. And there are many others that look at it like that. That's why I say you better stay away from this dark shit in these times. God is not playing, And don't be a host. And it's a lot of parasites out here. I'm telling you, especially in social media, they surfing these porn sites and porn links and people doing dumbass, nasty shit and just ain't thinking because they on camera. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I was speaking of impulses and not listening when God says stay put. Like I say, it's okay to have your fun times in life and do it. We all went through that, especially in our younger days when we kind of wasn't aware and we did our little things. I think that divine gives us all that fun time, that unawareness time. But there comes a time when you have to straighten your ass up and grow up. And that's brother or sister, real shit. But I want to speak on something that I seen on Twitter. Speaking of impulses, had a brother on there that was showing a video, and he was speaking. He seemed like he was a cool brother. He wasn't about nothing stupid or nothing. And he wanted to ask the young sisters on there some questions. And before he could even get the questions out, the girl seen the camera and just started twerking. Just started twerking. I was like, wow. And I'm telling you. And he just shook his head and he looked at the camera and he looked at her. It's like what, what the hell, And I couldn't hear it, but I could see the words. It was like captioned because I didn't click onto it. I just happened to scroll past it. And he was asking her, he said, how do you expect to get the type of man that you talk about getting when you're presenting yourself like that on the camera? And she was all, I could remember the words. She was like, I don't give a fuck that, and fuck. I was like, oh, Lord. And I don't make light of things like that because there's a lot of sisters out there like that. It's kind of sad, but some of it is their fault, but it's not all their fault. It's the influences. It's the way of this freaking world, and a lot of those, especially melanated brothers and sisters, maybe a little younger, maybe some old too, just not aware of this beast that's out here, in this atmosphere that has this influence on those and making those do different things. And you have to be aware of those things, that so we can see how we're behaving, how we look, because sometimes we're just not aware, but we better get aware, real talk, because life is the best lesson. Life will teach you whether you're aware or not. Life don't give a damn how we feel. Life is going to go on. Nature is going to move on, whether we here or not. So we better appreciate it while we here, so that future can be great. That's why we do righteous in the present, because when we connect it to those in our circle, they can be blessed. That's what it's all about. So I just want to talk about that impulse, and I see impulses all the time. I'm a stickler on that. That's my thing, because impulse is what got me in trouble back in the day. So that's why I'm so big on it. And again, that's the biggest problem in social media and in this world. Parasites everywhere. So I say again, as I said in that small clip about stopping and smelling the roses, don't be a host or a hoe, because that's what this system will make you. It will make you a hoe. And as brother or sister, it make you a hoe. I'm telling you, don't be no hoe. Be a firm man, be a firm woman, brother and sister. Don't be no hoe and don't be no host. Because that parasite is getting more and more sneaky. The more and more we go up in levels. Remember, the higher we get up in levels, the sneakier this system, this world, social media, Hollywood, all this bullshit around us in this so-called matrix is going to get sneakier. So we got to stay dynamic. As I always say, that's my word. We got to be dynamic, and be willing to face ourselves. So nothing on the outside can try to use, sometimes entities will try to use, like we have, but usually when we're awake, we don't have any more weaknesses. But those that think you have a weakness, entities that's trying to tear us down, they think we have a weaknesses and they'll try to use that. But if you're not weak, you can't be broken. Remember, divine zone, unbreakable. Once you're in that divine zone, there's no turning back. So know that as a melanated brother and sister, that we have that divine power. So once we do, we will be able to deflect impulses and we won't be no host to this parasitic world that we living in. So that's my thought, and that's that. You can hear the car outside, so excuse me for that noise. But thank those that's been listening and riding along with the brother. I appreciate it. And again, I did this podcast before, but I had to take it down because I guess it was, like I said, some kind of copyright. You know how it is when you speaking truth. But I had to come right back at it. Because the divine wanted me to deliver this message. When, like I say, when that great divine tell me to speak, I speak. When the higher force tell me to shut up, I shut up. But I am thankful to have the courage to be able to speak my mind, speak my truth, as well as other brothers and sisters out there that are generals. Salute. We are now generals. Don't forget that. So stay away from dark, toxic things. Don't be going on no damn porn sites. It's okay to look at a sister, and say she's beautiful and stuff. But just don't let that lusting shit take over us. Don't let that shit get in there. No, see the real beauty in each other. And same thing for my sisters, See the king in a brother. See the good in a brother, Even if a brother ain't quite there, understand him, figure him out, And if he can be helped, help him to be that king, whether y'all stay together or not. Because he's going to go on to another person. That's why we got to help each other. Even if we split up, we still have to kind of help each other, because when we split up, and whether it's relationships or marriage or it's a friends or something like that, and you're not talking or whatever, you still have to understand each other so you won't carry that same energy to the next person. We always got to keep our own energy right. Energy is nothing to play with. I'm learning this. I say this from time to time. Energy and psychological wars are nothing to fucking play with. So keep your psyche tight. Keep your mind and soul, man. See, hear, and feel, man. Keep those things on point, please. Keep them sharp. As I heard a brother say, we got to keep those blades sharp. Real talk. So that's my thought, and just wanted to encourage, lift up, and I'll say good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, whatever time zone you're in, because I got this on my podcast. Ain't that sun beautiful? I love it. I love the waking up of the sun, how it looks in the sky. It's beautiful. So that's why I got this on my banner. And you see me do stuff like this all the time, because nothing is going to disconnect me from the natural things of life. And nothing is going to disconnect from me from my family. Those are my circle. Reachers and teachers that I have learned from. I would never wish nothing bad on nobody or be bitter. Or what the hell is that going to do? So we just have to be happy with what that great divine gives us, and work with. I don't care if it's small, whatever. You work with it, whatever it is, and then I'm telling you, you'll be grateful later when you finally get to where we're trying to get, and that's brother or sister. Remember, we're generals. We're no longer soldiers or soldier wearers. We have moved up to generals. So thank those that have been listening, current subscribers, new subscribers. I thank you. You've been listening to my music and the NBA. I'll have more classic NBA games with me and my son. Little video games we play. I like doing that with them because it's fun. And you'll be hearing from my 27-year-old Aaron. He's kind of taking care of some things in his life right now, but we'll get back together and you'll hear more of his music. And again, go on my channel, check out my music, check out my son's music. It's on here. We got a song we did together called Get Your Mind Right. We did one called Breathe, and he did a song by himself called Slave. And I've done some songs on here, and more than welcome to go on my channel, listen to anything you need to hear to make you feel better, lift you up. It's all free, And like I say, nothing against those who do have cash apps and stuff like that, because you do have righteous brothers and sisters. They got cash apps and stuff. So nothing against that. It's just how I do, because like I say, I've met some great brothers and sisters in the world and online that really mean well. So I know who the real ones are. When you're in that right circle, you'll know who the real ones are. So I honor my family. I honor your family. I honor my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. Reachers and teachers that's out there doing their thing. Like I always say, keep forging forward. Great divine is going to keep on moving you right on through. So there's no such thing as stopping. Stopping is not even an option. So, again, honor my family. I honor your family. my children, their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you please keep that ultimate peace in your part of the world, wherever you are right now. Salute.